It's such a joyful, it's such a holy experience. So for somebody to put it down, when in the putting it down, they're contradicting exactly what they're saying badly about method. Well, I feel like I am protecting it. No matter how much I want to sit back and relax and just kind of enjoy Greece and take a holiday, when I see something that's of such importance to me, which is acting, teaching it and learning about it for as long as I'm ever gonna have a breathing soul. And then I see actors such as the ones that I'm describing and I'm talking about their misunderstanding of the method and putting it down. It doesn't bother me that people have different opinions about the method, but when you're giving your opinion, you contradict what system is, technique is. Makes me like really, really protective of it. Okay, I am in Greece still on vacation. At first, I thought that I wasn't going to do any kind of postings. I wasn't going to continue the podcast. I was going to take a break as August is holiday. It should be holiday for everyone, but then something comes up in the news and I just cannot stop to comment on it. Jeremy actually sent me this article that he saw, and it was written May, so just a few months ago, 2022. And the title of it, as you can see it, it says 10 actors who have spoken out against method acting. And every time I have anybody speak against method acting, I will read it, I will go through all the information that they give out, all the statements, to see if it makes any sense. And I don't think that they make sense. I'm reading a book. I'm going back to reading Stanislavski's book. The guy, the person, the director who spent 30 years of his life trying to come up with a system for acting, trying to come up with a system that's going to help actors be able to achieve great performances and not leave themselves to depend only on inspiration that sometimes happens and other times doesn't happen. This guru, Konstantin Stanislavski in Russia, 100 years ago, when he began to go after in trying to understand how acting needs to be changed from a pretend human being to a living human being. This man gave his life, he put his soul and heart into trying to come up with something that was going to be truthful for the actors in the given circumstances of the play and of the film that will make the audiences understand life, this mystery life. They would understand it. They would begin to understand each other. They would begin to understand the similarities that we have as people. But at the same time, the fact that we are so unique, we are so individual, we are so authentic. So this is not speaking against method, which is just a word. I'm speaking against method, or I'm speaking against a technique. This is speaking against somebody who revolutionized acting. You're speaking against a man who gave everything to try to systemize acting, and he was the first one to be able to systemize acting. That's where the name the system comes from. He never really named it the system, but he systemized acting, so then the name remained system. These 10 actors to speak out against method acting, I wanted to go through this interview, and of course, whoever did the interview has no idea about the history of the system. These people who are calling themselves experts They have no idea about any of it. How do I know that? How do I know they don't know? Because they don't have any questions to these people who are saying that method is not to be used, or method is narcissistic, or method is damaging to the actor. They don't know how to come up with a follow-up question to ask, well, how do you prepare for a role specifically in this particular role that you did? How did you do it? Because if they would have come up with those follow-up questions to be asking of details in the preparation of these actors, you would have seen that they are using method, but they just don't want to put it in the category of what it is. They don't want to name it. That's all they're doing. They're using it. That's how they achieved a great moment, because all of these are very famous actors. So that's how they achieved the fame. That's how they achieved the success. And they talk in this interview saying otherwise, giving the impression to the newcomers, giving the impression to the beginner actors that method is not working. One day, subconsciously or consciously, but without the willingness to want to name it for what it is, they won't. So it's giving the wrong information to somebody who's just beginning now as an actor, thinking method is bad. And the reason why they're going against the method and they're not speaking against the system is because method is what transformed. Method is what became adapted after Strasbourg came back from Russia, and understanding that there needs to be done more beyond what Stanislavski was able to do. The system became known, the method, in the United States with the group theater in the 1930s and then with the actor studio. I don't know, I just get really, really upset when somebody does that. It would be different if they gave the concrete facts to why they don't consider method to be something that they use and that is something that is helpful to them. But when they're saying the things you will see that they're saying in this article, it doesn't make sense. They're contradicting themselves. So they're saying something without the factual stuff behind it. And it's confusing. It doesn't make sense. Okay, let's just go through it. 10 actors who have spoken against method. There is no method to this madness, because the saying is there's a method to the madness, and I still agree there's a method to the madness. So for whoever this article is that I'm actually focusing on, by Diego Pineda Pacheco, I just wonder how much experience he has and how much of an expert he is when it comes to the method and to acting. Method acting, also known as the method, is a technique as revered as it is infamous nowadays. In broad terms, it's a system that some actors use when approaching a role where they try to become their character and inhabit their psyche. To achieve this, they may do all sorts of wild things, from eating a live cockroach, like Nicolas Cage, for Vampire's Kiss, to smoking tens of thousands of dollars worth of cigars, like Gary Oldman for Darkest Hour. The method is undoubtedly an effective technique, as proved by artists of the stature of Daniel Day-Lewis and Marlon Brando, but not all actors in the industry hold it in such high esteem. Some haven't been hesitant to share their disregard for the system and how it is often taken too far. First one, a narcissistic kind of self-indulgent thing, Sebastin Stan. By the way, Sebastin Stan is an actor who's of origin Romanian. I think he moved to the United States when he was just a little boy. I saw him on stage many years ago in New York. I didn't even pay attention to that name then to know that he was Romanian. But we were invited by Ellen Burstyn because she was in the show to go see us. So he was there. So he's come a long way. He's doing really great. Sebastin Stan, known most commonly for playing the Winter Soldier in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, recently gained notoriety for his transformation into Motley Crue drummer Tommy Lee in Hulu's Pam and Tommy. I haven't seen it. The method has nothing to do with that transformation, though, as Stan in English, Stan in Romanian, the pronunciation, has expressed his rejection of it. I do not believe in creating chaos for the purpose of acting, Stan told the In the Envelope podcast. He criticized performers who use this chaos to artificially create tension in scenes, calling that an irresponsible, narcissistic kind of self-indulgent thing. Okay, Just from this, just from the part that I read right now, he criticized performers who use this chaos to artificially create tension in scenes. Chaos. First of all, method or system, whatever you want to call it, system back in Russia, method in the United States, is not chaos. It is the most requiring technique of discipline, of structure. The chaos that he speaks about, that shows you that he doesn't even understand what method is. So when somebody like that talks about method and he gives that kind of a misplaced description of it, that drives me insane. In order to be able to be free and to experience, as Stanislavski used to call his desire and his objective over a lifetime of his actors to be able to do within the imaginary circumstances, to live in the imaginary circumstances. He emphasized over and over and over again the importance of the text. The script, the text, the play is what gives you the information. If you go in between the lines, beyond the lines, behind the lines, you do a lot of script analysis, a lot of text analysis, allowing your imagination and allowing your understanding, which has to do with your personal life, of what that text is saying to you. Once you do all that table work in beat by beat by bit, and it's not even beat. The Americans call it beat because of the misunderstanding in pronunciation of Stanislavski. He meant bit. Stanislavski meant bit, B-I-T, but it was heard due to his accent that it was pronounced something else. So for him to say that there's chaos, performers who use method, they use this chaos. It's not chaos. Sebastin Stan or Sebastin Stan. It's not chaos. Do your homework more in depth about what the method is before you make a remark that's confusing to newcomers who are beginning their career as actors, and you are confusing them. Do your in-depth learning of what method is and of what system is. It requires of a discipline that no other art form has. That's what it does. This chaos, nobody talks about chaos at the actor studio. When you go on the stage of the actor studio and you have not done the homework, the one that I had just previously spoke about, where you know exactly what the given circumstances of the text are, and then you allow yourself to explore within that structure, within that discipline, after you train your instrument, your body, your voice, your inner life, your exterior life, through all different tools that really work, and you will get actors to be able to have a concrete foundation to maintain more great performances and not wonder if tonight is the night that inspiration is going to be there for them or not. They don't have to depend on that. They have a foundation to stand on. They have a concrete, real, palpable foundation. Nobody wants chaos. They won't accept chaos at the actor studio where method is holy. Maybe because you misunderstand what it means, then you should say that. I don't know much about method acting, you should say. But this is what I'm getting from it, because you're wrong. Let's move on. Mads Mikkelsen. It's just pretentious. Danish actor Mads Mikkelsen has had a lot on his plate lately, appearing in films like Doctor Strange, Rogue One, and more recently, blah, 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 The Secrets. When asked by GQ magazine about his thoughts on method acting, Mikkelsen made his opinion clear right off the bat. It's bullshit, he said. It's bullshit. The actor expressed his disapproval of performers who never broke character, implying that their system is pointless and unimpressive. He diligently prepares for his roles, but doesn't believe that taking it any further is necessary. Okay, but why don't you explain how you prepare for your roles? If you think that the method is pretentious and you think it's bullshit, how do you prepare for your roles? Why isn't the person questioning these people asking the follow-up? So tell us exactly how you do it, because I can guarantee you 100%, I don't know any of these people, but I can guarantee you that subconsciously they use tools from the system and tools from the method, but they do not understand that that's what they're doing, because they are already so arrogant in saying that the method doesn't work, instead of saying, I don't know if it works because I am not an expert actor. I haven't really trained as a method actor myself to be able to understand if I'm using it or not. Only the fact that he says the actor expressed his disapproval of performers who never broke character. Method acting is not requiring of anybody not to break character. The people who are using method and choose to stay in character, it's their choice. Method doesn't offer you a rigid one way of doing things. Method offers you, again, the same as the system, a foundation from where to start to develop your instrument, because your instrument is going to be different than the other actor's instrument. We're all unique, going back to what I was saying in the introduction of this podcast, of this video. So for him to say it requires, there's no requirement. Method does not require anything of anyone. Method provides tools to be used, as Strasberg said, when necessary, when nothing else is working and you are needing something to rely on, then you have a myriad of tools, you have a myriad of techniques within the method that you can go to get you to where you need to go to do justice to the character. Nobody's saying that you have to stay in character. Another answer that doesn't make any kind of sense, and it's stupid. So it shows how ignorant he is about the method. He is not reserved in calling it all these negative adjectives: bullshit, unimpressive. What else did he call it? Blah, blah, blah. I don't even know. But he's the one that's actually the unimpressive one. He's the one that's ignorant. He's the one that's actually not doing the homework before he answers a question. He doesn't know that you don't have to stay in character. He doesn't know that. So why would he give the definition of method being that? That shows his lack of knowledge. This made me so mad, this article. I had to do it because, everyone has their own method. Laurence Olivier. Laurence Olivier was one of the most acclaimed actors of the 20th century, best known for his memorable takes on Shakespearean roles. I'm not going to go through all the things. His technique was as refined as you'd expect, and he considered the method as nothing more than just another method. A funny story purports that while working on Marathon Man, Dustin Hoffman, a method actor, stayed up for 3 full days to play a sleep-deprived character. Upon learning of this, Olivier is said to have responded, "My dear boy, why don't you just try acting?" Yeah, that's something that's very known. But at least he's not saying something horrible in the sense that, oh, he doesn't believe in the method. He's actually saying method is just another technique. Method is just another method. So he's smart enough to be able to understand the method offers you more methods within it. It just doesn't put you on a rigid path that you have to follow and you have to stick to it, as these other actors that I talked about earlier seem to understand and understand wrongly. Dustin Hoffman, a method actor, he stayed up for 3 full days to play a sleep-deprived character. That was his choice. The fact that he wants to stay into an experience to learn more about the character and to be able to allow the character to crawl under his skin, that was his choice. The method doesn't say, oh, Dustin Hoffman, method acting requires of you to stay up all night. It gives you different choices. You can try, and you can even come up, if you really understand the specifics of the method, it gives you so much freedom. Strasberg was never okay with the term method. He called it method, but I don't think he was ever okay with it because it gives the wrong understanding to what the word means, which people who are not giving some time to learn more about it misunderstand it to be. They think it's just this way. You got to do it this way. It's this way. It's the method way. You got to stay in character. You got to eat, I don't know what, to be able to understand the character. No, these are options. That's not what system is. That's not what method is. It's up to you what you need, because you are an individual human being before you are an actor who has different needs, different parts of your instrument that need to be trained depending on what the character is that you're playing and what the role is. Charlize Theron, I was just exhausted, Charlize Theron says. Charlize Theron had tried the method before in films like The Devil's Advocate, Monster, the latter of which earned her an Academy Award, but she told the Los Angeles Times that she had just found it exhausting. Instead, Theron reports that discovering that method acting was not for her was great because she can now spend more time and energy on her characters, living and breathing in the moment with them. She found that the method was so tiresome that it didn't allow her to go deep into the heart of her roles. She's describing the method, but she's saying she's not working method. Okay, she says she can now spend more time and energy on her characters, living and breathing in the moment to moment work. That's the method. Living and breathing in the moment, living and staying in the moment rather than anticipating what comes. You are in the moment, responding to the other character that you're playing with. So she's describing the method, one of the trainings that so many actors can swear by that it works. And then she says, but thank God I'm not doing that. So I'm against the method. I'm not doing method because it's tiresome. Thank God that I can work now in living and breathing the characters in the moment, which is, again, doesn't make sense. It contradicts. You're contradicting yourself. That's what makes me want to pull my hair out, which I'm not going to do because I just had it colored. In Pevko, I'll tell you about what this is, the present. So please, Charlize Theron, I think you're an amazing actor, but I think you do not know that you are a method actor. I'm sorry to tell you, you are, because you just described method acting, training, and technique. And then you're saying that's not what you do because that exhausts you, but you like to be in the moment. Makes no sense. Ugh. Okay, who's this guy? Robert Pattinson. They only use it when they're playing an a-hole. Talking to Jennifer Lopez for Variety's Actors on Actor series about his wild performances in The Lighthouse. I thought it was a horrible performance. People were making such a big thing about his performance because he's been so bad during the Twilight saga. When somebody saw him do like more of a theatrical kind of performance in a cinematic, in a film, everybody gave him credit because he was so bad in the other one. So he playfully criticized the method, claiming that actors only use it when they're playing an a-hole. I think you're the a-hole, making it abundantly clear that method acting isn't something he would ever be interested in trying. Talked about why he finds the technique so unappealing. Oh my God, it's so unappealing. You find it so unappealing. I need to know it ends. I need to know it ends, he told Lopez, referring to actors who stay in character. Oh my God, another misunderstanding. I just want to slap the face of his picture. Slap and wake him up. Wake him up. Did you read Stanislavski's An Actor Prepares, Building a Character? Did you read any of the books written by Lee Strasberg? Mr. What's your name? Robert Pattinson, Vampire Man. Did you? No? You should, before you talk to Jennifer Lopez or anybody else. Don't talk about the method. Talk about anything you want, but don't talk about the method because you don't know what that is. So shut up. I need to know it ends, he told Lopez, referring to actors who stay in character. Oh my God, that's all they all say, stay in character. I'm just gonna, nobody says you have to stay in character. To give you an example, that he's so wrong in saying that, I want to know that it ends. That's exactly what Lee Strasberg was telling the actors at the actor studio. There's a story about the actor studio where there was this actor and he was performing on the stage and he was brilliant. He got to an emotion that was so exciting for everybody to watch, and it was so surprising to himself and to the audience that when the work stopped, he continued to stay with the emotion. Everybody was applauding him. Everybody said, oh my God, he's such an amazing, brilliant actor. Look, he still has the emotion. And it is said that Strasberg said to those actors, no. And to the actor himself, no. You cannot call somebody like that a brilliant actor. What makes one a brilliant actor is getting to that emotion, surprising himself with the emotion because he is not pushing for the emotion. He is in the moment, Charlize Theron, moment by moment by moment, living and breathing the character. And the emotion will surprise him because he's going action by action by action, overcoming the struggles, going for an objective, and the emotion rises up. But then Strasberg said, when the show is over, when the work is over, you have to be capable and you have to be so trained psychologically, emotionally, physically, that you need to stop. You need to be able to say, I'm done. Switch the mind off. Release all of that you have discovered in the work and go about your day. So you need for the moment to end. Strasberg said, if you're not capable of doing that, if you don't know how to distinguish from when the play is still on and the play is over, and you let everything that you were able to bring up, if you're not able to put it to the side, don't come back because you're not ready to be a great actor. You got to go take care of that with a professional, with a psychologist, with somebody who has a diploma in psychology. Acting is not a healing method. Acting requires of you to be healed first before you take it on. So I don't know what you're talking about, Pattinson. Dude, I have no idea what you're talking about, because nobody's saying that you need to continue being the character and hold on to the emotions discovered within the play or within the film. Another misinformation on his part. I mean, how can this not be driving someone crazy? Do you people understand why I'm really, really upset? Because they're giving you the bullshit characterization of what they think method is, which is completely wrong. Completely wrong. I'm too talented to care. Spencer Tracy. Spencer Tracy, renowned for his versatility and naturalistic style, was a highly praised American actor. He was the first to win two back-to-back acting Oscars for Captain Courageous and Boys Town, achievements that has since only been reached by Tom Hanks. He's quoted as saying, as having said, the kids keep telling me I should try this new method acting, but I'm too old, I'm too tired, and I'm too talented to care. He certainly earned the right to say that, as his career was one of the most prolific of any actor of his generation. Of course, everybody has the right to say whatever they want to say. We're in a free country still, the United States of America. He's one of those people that if Konstantin Stanislavski were alive during Spencer Tracy's time, probably Konstantin Stanislavski would have been observing him, because that's what Stanislavski did in order to come up with a systemized manual for acting. He went around Europe, he traveled everywhere. He watched Eleonora Duse, the Italian living in the moment actress. He observed all of the actors who were having great performances, and he was questioning, how come these actors are able to have these great performances? How come I am able to have a great performance? Because he was also an actor one night, and the next night he wasn't able to do that. The same with the other actors. So he was observing, he was looking at details, he was taking notes, and he probably would have done the same thing with the person like Spencer Tracy, who was already using method, but it was subconsciously. It was without at that time having the term that Stanislavski later came up with the system. Before Stanislavski, there was no technique that was recognized rather than I'm expressing anger, I'm expressing joy, I'm expressing love. It was only posing, it was fakeness, it was pretend. All of these people that were, before Stanislavski came up with the system, they were already intuitively, instinctually, were living truthfully the given circumstances of the character they were experiencing those moments with, in response to the other characters. They were going after something they wanted, they were overcoming struggles, they were not giving up hope, just as we do in life. So Stanislavski took what we do in life as human beings and put what we do in life on stage to make the characters as human as we are in real life, so that the audiences can go to the cinema or can go to the theater and weep or dance or feel anything they want to feel, but they might be afraid to, and they're given the permission when they see that actors in their characters are doing it. So it's okay to feel human. He was looking at people who were already doing system, who were already doing method, but it didn't have a name at that time. And that's how he was able to take the notes and come up with a written one. Will Poulter, best known for his roles in films such as The Maze Runner, I don't know who this is, Talk to the Independent UK, An Excuse for Inappropriate Behavior. My God, dude, I don't know who this is. During the interview, he expressed his disapproval of the method. He mentioned how every actor's process is valid as long as it doesn't harm other people. Method acting shouldn't be used as an excuse for inappropriate behavior, and it definitely has. He spoke about the importance of having a pleasant, hospitable work environment when working on any film. Okay, another stupid comment about the method, which doesn't make any sense and is completely contradictory to what method is. Stanislavski talks about it a lot in his books. He wanted method to bring people to an understanding of how we can be better as people. He wanted actors to reveal on stage to the audiences how we can transform, how we have deep down inside of us a good part that can be revealed more often than we seem to do it. So he wanted this new technique that he was studying and he was trying to adjust and make it better over 30 years. It was for that purpose. It was a holy undertaking by him. It was sacred. It was for humanity. He understood that it can change humanity, can change people, it can change people's understanding of others. It wasn't done because you are supposed to hurt another person or hurt yourself. I just said that in the previous one. Strasberg said to the actor who was damaging his instrument by not knowing when to stop when the work was done, you're now ready. Go take care of your instrument, take care of yourself, heal yourself, and then come back, because he didn't want him to be damaging to himself. And you don't want to be damaging to other people. At the actor studio, if you do something where the audience feels that you're actually putting the other actor you are on the stage with, and you're doing something that's going to somehow hurt him, they will stop and they will talk to you about what's wrong. What don't you understand about the method? It's not about hurting anyone. It's actually about not hurting other people. It's giving you the merging of the personal with the merging of the imagination, where if you want to hit somebody, you don't have to do it. You can hit the air or you can kick the air. And you can substitute that person to be whomever in your life hurt you. So you never have to call that person in your life to say you hurt me. It's the opposite. Dude, I don't know who you are. I recognize your face, but you're so wrong. Please read Stanislavski's books and Strasberg. Please. John Cassavetes, more a form of psychotherapy than of acting. He's known for his phenomenal work as an actor in film, the blah, 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 A Woman Under the Influence, really great films. What John Cassavetes' opening night has to teach us about interpreting movies, the artist accused the method of in the book Cassavetes on Cassavetes of being lazy, narcissistic, insipid, even going so far as to say that it produced bad performances. From Cassavetes' point of view, acting could be more playful, zany, instead of taking itself so seriously. For him, acting should be an expression of cheerfulness. Okay, but this is him talking about those people who are taking method on and they are putting it in practice wrongly. That's what it is. He's talking not about the method, but he's talking about some people who call themselves method actors, like Lady Gaga, who is talking about it as if she has trained in it for 20 years. Strasberg says you have to train in it for 20 years before you can call yourself a method actor. So I don't know if Lady Gaga trained in it for 20 years, but he's talking about the people who do not understand method and they are doing it wrongly. So if you're talking about those people, then you should specify. Then you shouldn't say, oh, this is why the method is bad, because method makes you self-indulgent. Yeah, it does do that with some people. You're being snapped out of it if that's what's happening when you work at the actor studio. They won't let you do that. They stop you, they snap you out of it. They ask you, what do you want? It's not about you. It's about the art in you. Stanislavski said that. What I'm saying is you're giving a bad name to the method. Don't put the method and talk about the method as a whole as if you know what you're talking about, because you have no idea what you're saying. And it shows in your response and your statements about it that you have no freaking idea. So stop it. No longer a craft and a job, Martin Freeman. No longer a craft and a job, Martin Freeman. Known for his work in shows like Sherlock, films, The Hobbit trilogy, British actor. How would it be if I said all British actors are really, really very unoriginal? They're not giving themselves permission to actually really surprise themselves in the moment. That would be wrong of me to say that, because I can't say that about every British actor. So I have to say some. Freeman thinks that method acting is much more amateurish and academic than practical because an actor losing themselves in a role detracts from the value of acting as a craft. He condemned performances like Jim Carrey in Man on the Moon, calling them aggrandizing, selfish, and narcissistic. Dude, do not talk badly about Jim Carrey in Man on the Moon because he was a brilliant, beautiful, amazing, extraordinary performance. So I don't know what the heck you're talking about, but when you're saying that it's amateurish and academic, it's completely the opposite. It is so in practice done. Have you been to the actor studio to experience what the sessions are like? You should try it. Next time you're in New York, I'll put you as my guest. Would you like to come as a guest, Mr. Martin Freeman? And once you go to the actor studio and you watch a session in practice, in progress, you will see that it does not accept theory. If you're talking about the work that you're doing on the character when you're being asked, what is your work? What did you work on? What did you specifically work on? They don't want to hear ideas. They don't want to hear theory. They don't want to hear academia talk. Wrong. Wrong on you to say that. Wrong. They want visceral work that requires at every moment for your senses to be involved. The foundation of the method is the sensory. The sensory means that you are experiencing with your senses. There's no theory in experiencing sensorially. So when you call it idea, theory, amateurish, academic, than practical, please, okay, it's utter wonkery. Toni Collette. Okay, Toni Collette, great. The last work that I saw you do was in the series that was based on the documentary The Staircase, about the real murder of this wife of a writer who was found dead at the bottom of the stairs. The fictional miniseries based on the documentary The Staircase. And I was watching it, and I'm so glad that you're actually here with this article, because I really thought that you were doing the same thing that I've seen you do in other roles. So I think that you would give yourself a little bit of a joyful moment if you would not be so negative about the method, because I think your joy in acting is kind of past you, because you've done a lot of work and you were one of the lucky actors to do a lot of work. And I think that if you would just be a little bit more open and not say, I think that is actually total bullshit. Bullshit. She said when asked whether she carries her characters throughout the production of the film, it's the same phrase. If she carries her characters, what carrying of characters? You're not carrying the characters because there's no character outside yourself for you to freaking carry. Is there a character? Where's the character? Hello, character. Where's my character? Come on, character. I have to carry you. You want to jump on my back? You want to jump on my lap? Where do you want to jump so I can carry you? What kind of idiotic question is that? I have to not be so mean. I have to stop attacking so much these actors, because even the interviewers who are asking the questions have no freaking idea what they're talking about. But they could be the ones correcting them, you know? But when she says, I think that is totally actually bullshit, she said when she was asked whether she carries her characters throughout the production of her films. I would have said, there's nothing to carry. I can't carry my character because there's no character outside of myself. But she didn't say that. She believes that it's inevitable for actors to take parts of their characters with them as they dive deep into their psyche. But she thinks that doing so is an overt way of tasteless. Okay, how do you do it? How do you dive deep into the character psyche? I would like to know. Is there somebody else that you program? Do you have a double of yourself, Toni Collette? Is there like a double Toni Collette that you turn on the key and you ask her to go act when you get roles? Whose psyche, whose mind are you using when you are playing a role? Are you able to detach medically your psyche, your brain, and the rest of you? Are you able to detach yourself from the character so you're completely distanced from it, from the character? Are you? So how are you not bringing what your life has been like? How are you not bringing your brain? How are you not bringing your psyche into that you play? How are you able to? disconnect and detach. Because if you have that discovery at your fingertips, if you know how to do it medically, I think you should let the whole world know. The medical circle would be really, really so thankful to you, because you've discovered something that none of us know how to do. So if you're able to put yourself to the side and not bring any of your personal, none of your brain, none of your psychological life prior to that role, if you're able to put them to the side completely, let us know. Doesn't make any sense. Contradiction. Thank God, whoever said this. Okay. But to be fair, the only actors mentioned here that are not from before the Marlon Brando era have not won an Oscar. And the group of method actors have won a ton of them. Thank God. Thank God. That's the conclusion of it all. 7 actors who put the method in method acting. Okay. The next episode, I'm going to go to the ones who actually will make sense, because these are the ones who understand method acting coming from Stanislavski to Strasbourg. Method acting in the context of modern cinema is now mostly considered a familiar term, originating with the great Russian playwright Konstantin Stanislavski in the early 20th century as a cultivation of his art of experiencing. This rather consuming approach to acting directs an actor to apply deep personal and emotional connections to a role in order to achieve a realistic and naturalized performance. This is the truthful definition of acting in the system, in the method. The present, all of us should consider ourselves to be a present. This is from a play that I went to see on Broadway with Kate Blanchett. It was called The Present, but it was an adaptation of the play that I later directed, Platonov, by Anton Chekhov. Thank you so much for this episode. Still in Greece. Thank you so much. Mwah, mwah, mwah.